For the last 25 days, I have been a blue-blooded American patriot, out there on the road traveling these here United States of America. And as a result, I can say that my blood is 37% biscuits and gravy, Budweiser, and beer-battered bacon. Yes, I have traveled the world talking to people, and as a result of that, I would say that with each stop I was consistently compounding the capacity of my cranium, and as a result, I can answer life's hardest questions. And one of those is, what does it take to wake up a Jehovah's Witness? If you like goofy intros, alliterations, and a little bit of facts about the Jehovah's Witnesses and what it means to be an ex-Jehovah's Witness, stay tuned. Quickly before we get into the video though, don't forget to drop a like on the video. It helps it get out to more people on YouTube. It helps it perform well in the algorithm, and consider subscribing to the channel as I do have a lot of exciting content coming out going forward. With all of that being said, let's do this. In the past, I have said that one of the best ways that you can wake someone up from their indoctrination is by going to the very foundation of their faith, the Bible. Examining the Bible from a more objective viewpoint previously, I thought was the best way in order to get people to ask questions and think critically for the first time. Because when you start examining the Bible from an objective standpoint, you start to unravel your Jehovah's Witness interpretation of it, because it just cannot be true. Now, I left the organization about 8-9 years ago at this point, and my opinions are based back of my understanding of Watchtower in 2015, which in the age of New Light and JW.org and JW Broadcasting and all of these changes, I'm geriatric thinking. I'm out of touch with reality when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses anymore. And I don't think that that is the most effective way, because they used to really pride themselves about being these biblical scholars almost, not having the degree, but having all of the knowledge. And when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I really was proud of the knowledge and understanding that I had of the Bible. But witnesses nowadays in 2023 are not like that anymore. Things have shifted and changed, and I think the approach to trying to wake up Jehovah's Witnesses also needs to shift and change with that. So one of the biggest things that I noticed when talking with people, I traveled through, I think, 24 different states while I was on my road trip, and talked to people all over the country. And I kid you not, 80% of people had left Watchtower during the pandemic. 80% of them had left just in a few recent years since the pandemic. And it wasn't until I made my very last stop, and I wish I could play the clip for you, him in his own words, but my audio got really scuffed, and I'm trying to work out how to fix it, but I wanted to make this video to begin with. And I just asked him a question as we were doing an interview about what he would say to a Jehovah's Witness that is having questions. And his response really intrigued me. He said that if this is the truth, it's going to be true now, and it's going to be true 3 months from now. So take a break. Give yourself 3 months away from going to meetings, study, going out in service. And if it's still true at the end of that 3 months, you are going to be so excited to get right back into it. It's going to prove to you that it is the best life ever, that everything makes perfect sense. And your faith will be stronger, because now you'll know, having spent 3 months out, that this that this is the truth. Oh, I forgot my spray. Hold on.
A few minutes later.
Better. And if at the end of the 3 months, you realize that that was an unnatural, unhealthy way of living your life, if at the end of the 3 months you realize that you have more questions and doubts than you ever have, well, then you can put those to the test, which is actually biblical. Keep putting, you must test whether or not you are in the faith. And I thought this was some of the best advice that I've ever heard for someone that is having questions. If you're having questions or doubts, or you're not sure about something, why not just unplug for a little bit and take a break? Now, I know this can be scary to a lot of people. And if you've never been a Jehovah's Witness and you want to know why it might be scary, well, there is this idea surrounding a spiritual routine. And I've put together a little compilation of all of the various ways in which Watchtower highlights having a good spiritual routine. Check it out.
In addition to developing these qualities, something else that can help us is our spiritual routine. Our consistent routine of study, meeting attendance, and the ministry will help us remain busy, stay active, and make good decisions.
The third element of disciple making involves helping our students to develop good study habits and a regular spiritual routine.
Freddie has been a great example for all of us because he pushes himself to keep his spiritual routine.
Let's keep up our spiritual routine and prove ourselves ready, because the great tribulation is near.
You may have bought one of these voice assistants to listen to music, check the news and the weather, perhaps to control your home appliances. Now you can use it to listen to the content that we need for our regular spiritual routine. Let's try it out. Alexa, read the daily text from jw.org.
Reading the daily text.
We can only imagine the deep concern you've had for your young children and teens during the pandemic. You worry about their physical safety and their education. You've also been concerned about the emotional impact of physical distancing for many months from other children, grandparents, relatives, and the congregation. And you've handled all of this while you work to provide for them and keep up your family's spiritual routine.
But I kept up my spiritual routines.
The doctors had told him that he would not survive the next 5 months. Would he now be fully absorbed in finding some treatment and forgetting all his spiritual routine? No, our brother persisted in getting some medicine to be able to attend the convention. He wanted to serve as attendant. He wanted to care for others.
Those apostate doubts that I was reading kept going deeper and deeper into my heart. I stopped reading the publications. I stopped going to the meetings. And as a result, my spiritual routine was dead.
Yes, it doesn't matter if you're a newly married couple, if you just became parents, if you're an elder, a pioneer, young, old, if you're having health problems. That one example is mind-blowing. Someone finds out they only have 5 more months to live, and yet we don't want to be wasting our time with doctor's appointments trying to find a cure. No, we want to have a good spiritual routine. So that is why it is terrifying for Jehovah's Witnesses to ever consider the idea that they can just take a break and just pull back a little bit and take some time to reflect on what is really going to be good and healthy for their lives. And Watchtower obviously knows this. They have seen the numbers. They have seen how many people dropped off and became inactive as soon as the pandemic started. Whenever they didn't have to go to meetings and they didn't have to have that spiritual routine, they took a break. And when you do that, boy howdy, the world is your oyster, and you can live a much more healthy life because you're doing things based off of what you want to do, what you recognize as good and healthy for you as an individual. and not what someone that doesn't know you, that doesn't know your circumstances, that doesn't know your family, that knows nothing about you, is prescribing. Imagine going to a doctor and they know none of your medical history, they do no examination of you whatsoever, and you just take whatever medicine that they prescribe to you. Would you ever do that? Well, the answer is yes. If you are indoctrinated into a cult, you will absolutely take this prescribed medicine from someone that doesn't know you. And I just want people to realize that sometimes you actually know yourself pretty dang well. And so it might be time to take a break, relax, and figure out where you want your life to go. Now, I know there are a few of you typing out a comment right now, but Wally, what are you talking about? How are we ever going to get a Jehovah's Witness to take a break? This is so unrealistic. Of course they would leave if they could take a break. Well, hold your horses, because we are slightly ahead of believing Jehovah's Witnesses in that we've already seen the annual meeting, and we know what is about to drop in part 2 of the annual meeting that's released to Jehovah's Witnesses. So if you don't know, they released part 1 as part of the broadcasting for this month, and next month they're going to be releasing part 2. Well, what is in part 2 of the annual meeting? Lest you forget, let us watch.
Once the Great Tribulation starts, is there a door of opportunity still available? Well, to answer that, looking at this time chart, remember the judgment of the sheep and the goats, the final judgment, occurs when? Not at the beginning, but towards the end of the Great Tribulation. So let's think about some that we know, perhaps unbelieving relatives, disfellowshipped ones, others that have heard the message, perhaps studied with us. Could some of them, once they see the destruction of Babylon the Great, decide that what Jehovah's Witnesses were saying is correct after all? Could they take a stand for the truth? Well, if they changed their hearts and joined us, would we be disappointed? Now, we can't be dogmatic, but we don't want to be like Jonah and say, oh, no, the door's closed, no. You see, we need to remember other cases in the scriptures that help us to understand how Jehovah, as a merciful judge, has dealt with people in the past. So, what happened? Well, during the time when the 10 plagues came upon the Egyptians, obviously some of these Egyptians started to see the distinction between Jehovah and the false gods that they worshipped. So when decision time came and the Israelites were leaving Egypt, some of these Egyptians joined the Israelites. Now, isn't that interesting for us to note? But, of course, we might be thinking, yes, well, I understand why we said what we did before, but is it really the case that all these ones that we've studied with or so on, some of them may have a chance to join us after Babylon the Great is destroyed? Is that fair? Last minute repentance. But you see, are we imitating the merciful judge of all the earth?
Ah, yes, the incredible new light that gives every believing Jehovah's Witness the opportunity to do exactly what I'm talking about. The fear that keeps Jehovah's Witnesses on this hamster wheel of, well, if I'm not giving Jehovah my absolute best, then Armageddon, the Great Tribulation, it could break out like that in an instant, and then I would be killed. I need to be in Jehovah's good favor. Well, now, they don't have to worry about that anymore. If they do decide they want to take a short little break and reevaluate their life, they can. Because they're not going to be killed at the Great Tribulation. And if the Great Tribulation breaks out, well then, Bob's your uncle. You can jump right back on the ship and become a Jehovah's Witness, become fully active again, and you too will be saved. So I feel like if there's anyone that has contact with their believing friends or relatives or is in a position, maybe not do it directly. You don't want to send them this video and say, look, you can do this. This random guy on the internet said that you should take a break. Don't be doing any of that nonsense. That's a bunch of tomfoolery. But maybe planting the idea or mentioning that in the broadcast and seeing what they think about it, or seeing, hey, do you want to go on a vacation? Do you want to take a cruise? Let's go on a month-long cruise or something like that. If there's any way that you can get them to unplug, even if it's for a couple of weeks or a month, or just get involved with, family activities, or whatever the case might be creative. But if there's any way that you can get them to just step outside of that, from what I have seen, talking to so many people that have left the organization, the biggest common denominator was stepping away from the organization during the pandemic. Unplugging your mind from that constant spiritual routine was a massive factor in waking people up. So I think gone are the days when people are tied to the Bible and the doctrine and looking at prophecy and types and antitypes. And now the organization has more become about love and loyalty and these loquacious goobers talking ad infinitum during these broadcasting episodes. Or I guess if you're on this channel, this loser talking ad infinitum about this loquacious loser talking ad infinitum about exjw stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to put this video together because I thought it was something that was important and timely, because I think from what I've observed that we might have an opportunity, or those that do have an opportunity to speak to their relatives might have a chance to sort of put the little shoehorn in the back of the shoe and say, maybe we can make this transition a little bit easier for you, and now you don't have to worry about being killed at the Great Tribulation or for the doors of the ark to be shut. So absolutely massive changes coming to the Jehovah's Witness world when this new broadcast drops. And I hope that anyone that is in a position to help someone will try and take advantage of that in the softest, most intelligent way possible. Anyway, with all of that being said, stay safe, be kind, and don't forget to smile. Why was candy allowed at conventions, but it wasn't allowed at meetings? This is a cough drop, not candy, but either way, have a good ass day.